Welcome back to A Drop of Happy, your space for stress well living, well being, and entertainment. This is your drop of calm, clarity, joy, and fun. I am your host, Wanda Toby. Let's talk about the movie Primate. It's been a while since I've done a movie review. I think the last one I did was Superman in August. Oof. All right, so Primate is out, and I have to tell you, I have not experienced that much stress and anxiety since I watched Train to Busan, and that was a while ago. The way this movie had me on the edge of my seat for most of the parts was ridiculous, and that chimpanzee was absolutely diabolical. Now, I don't know these people, I don't know a single actor. But horror movies usually have a tendency to introduce us to new actors. So I'm thinking we're going to see some of these folks again. And again, they may have been in other things. I just don't know them. So they were all new to me. Regardless, I always like to give these actors or any a shout out because they work hard to land these roles and get to where they are and bring these characters to life, even if it's a little poorly. I won't say that in this case. I'm just speaking in general, okay? So the main character is Johnny Sequoia. Oh, I hope I said that right. She's backed by Jessica Alexander, Miguel Hernando Torres, Umba, and he played Ben. And I'm just going to pause because I don't know. I'm sure it was a mask, a costume, or whatever. Uh, and I'm guessing we have to give some props, some shout out to the costume people, the maybe graphic design. I don't know, but the facial expressions, the like bend, okay. I'm sure it was a collaborative effort to get those expressions to come to life. But bend. That's all I'm going to say. Victoria Wyatt, Troy Coster, Gia Hunter, and Benjamin Chang. So Primate is a horror movie. It was released in 2025, like late 2025, by Paramount Pictures from director Johannes Roberts. And from what the reviews, I'll just see what I see here. It got a 6.2 on IMDb, 72% on Fandango, and Rotten Tomatoes, it got an 80%. Um, what is it? The Google users liked it about 55% liked the movie. Now, it is about a smart aleck chimpanzee that gets rabies and wilds out. That is basically what it is. The basic premise. But oh my, so much more happens. So much more happens. The acting, like at first, I will admit it started out a little basic, but really intensifies in some parts. So for what they did, it was pretty good. No complaints. Like, I'm gonna say they did their thing. I have to say again, I already shouted out the actor to play who played Ben because again, I'm sure it was like a group effort type situation to be able to convey those expressions and all that because my God, that, that part, yes, I'm gonna say he did his thing. The setting, I feel like the setting was like another character, and that's when you know the setting is the setting and the shots and all that, like when it becomes like essential. Now I'm not gonna say it was essential, but it was meaningful. And really, Hawaii's beautiful. I thought they did a really good job of showcasing the beauty of the island while also having the location of the home be a key part of the study. So that's like what I mean when I say it was like another, I'm not going to say like another character, but another strong aspect. Now, the home was absolutely gorgeous. Personally, I would want to live in such an isolated location though. Like, it's, they did a shot like panning out in the nearest house. was like it looked like a good mile. I don't know, it probably was more. Now, the cinematography was well done also, from capturing the landscape to capturing Ben's antic, at times like pulling the audience in. There was one scene that just came out of nowhere, and the shot was like, it, it was such a good shot. Okay. Uh, and I also think that was like a nod to the direction being provided. So the pacing to me was just right. And really, once the groundwork was laid for the story, it kind of took off. And when it took off, it was a wild ride with brief moments to catch your breath and collect yourself. Were there some plot holes? Of course, you know. Were there some blatant, like, plot points to advance the story? Yes, duh, you know, to be expected. All in all, I don't feel like those took away too much from the film. And what I really liked, one of the parts that I really liked was the inclusion of the hearing disability. It was appreciated because it wasn't made to be like gimmicky. He was a regular dad who happened to be deaf. Regular dad taking care of his kids who happened to be deaf. Actually, he wasn't a regular dad. He was a very successful, exceptional dad, author dad, who also had to deal with family dynamics of being a provider and having to cater to the demands of his career and the demands of the career taking him away from the family, like all that. So he had to do all that, and I think they did a very good job, and they did not make a caricature of him being deaf. So they did a really good job. So if we had to do like a vibe check, right, it is going to stress you the heck out. Okay? But in a weird and satisfying way, if that makes sense. So my overall takeaway is from it, like the message. I mean, it's kind of like a horror movie, so I don't know what kind of message you can get out of it, but I'm gonna squeeze the message out. That's to never give up, even when a rabid chimpanzee is after you. So I think I'm aligned with the ratings because I give it an 8 out of 10. For I always like try to be for what I am watching for a horror movie. I give it an 8 out of 10 because it was giving that. So let me tell you, spoilers. Spoilers are ahead. We gonna get into some spoilers now. So if you don't like spoilers, now's the time to stop. But please like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Okay. So the movie starts off like, I feel like right off the bat it pulls you in. Okay, so we gonna talk about some spoilers. We gonna talk about some specifics about how this movie goes down. So you see a scene with a man going into an enclosure about to see about a chimp, but he's attacked before he can fully check out the shrimp, the chimp. So the next scene is Lucy and her best friend Kate on a plane. Lucy's flying back home to see her family for the summer. Kate invites another friend, Hannah, for the summer as well, which I was like, did you check in with her? Like, where's Hannah staying? Is Hannah staying? I was a little, okay. Anyway, so they end up flirting. Really, Hannah ends up flirting. Well, no, they all kind of flirt with some guys. And at some point, I guess they exchange numbers. They get picked up at the airport by Kate's brother, whom Lucy, you can tell, has a crush on. At the house, they all get acclimated, and we get a glimpse of the family dynamics. Lucy is upset that her father has to away from work. Erin, is her name Erin? Erin, Lucy's sister. Or is her name Kate? No, Kate is the friend. Okay, anyway. Erin is Lucy's sister, and she's upset with Lucy because Lucy hasn't come home to visit more often. Ben, the pet chimp, is a fun distraction for everyone. And although Hannah is freaked out about Ben, I feel like they put Hannah in there to represent how normal people would react. Because let me tell you, I'm freaking out about a chimp. And I think Hannah's reaction kind of speaks to what happens to her later on. Okay. So, um, Adam, Lucy, and Aaron's father, he does have to leave. And what happens is Ben kind of Hannah gets scared by Ben. Ben is like a little aggressive, and we'll kind of touch on that a little later on. Um, and Adam kind of notices, oh, Ben's a little hurt. So when he goes to take Ben in his enclosure, he finds a mongoose, and I guess Ben has a habit of going over to the neighbors and I don't know, playing with the pets, playing with I don't know. Anyway, um, the mongoose is good and dead, so he sends the dead mongoose off for testing, and then he tells the girls, "Hey, there's something wrong with Ben. Make sure he stays in his enclosure. I did call the vet." So, long story short, the vet comes, which I'll get into a little bit more later, and Ben kills him, and then Ben goes on a rampage. Okay? I just want to talk about Lucy real quick. So, because the story kind of sort of surrounds her, Lucy is a typical cute little college girl back to see her family. She secretly likes Kate's brother, Nick, but Nick really doesn't notice her or even thinks about her in that way. And he's obviously attracted to Hannah, who's like, yeah, I'm attracted to him. She thinks he's cute. Lucy doesn't like this, and she gets like a little petty. This is like in one of the scenes. And that is how the boys that they met on the plane ends up being invited to the house. And unfortunately, they end up getting brutally killed by Ben. So, okay. So I'm going to go by Ben's killings. Okay. This is how I'm going to summarize the movie for y'all. Okay. So it starts off with Hannah doesn't die first, but the interaction is interesting. Okay. So Hannah, who Lucy doesn't like anyway, I'm not saying that's just happenstance. I'm not saying that's pivotal in this point. Okay. She sees Ben by the pool. By this time, Ben is foaming at the mouth. Okay. He's aggressive towards Hannah. She's freaking out, rightfully so, because Ben looks like he's about to hem her up. Okay. She freaks out, but then she's saved by Adam, the daddy, and he takes Ben to the enclosure. He has this little thing that he blows into, and Ben reacts to it. So anyway, he takes Ben to the enclosure. This is when he takes Ben to the enclosure and is just like, okay, I'm gonna put you in here. And then he tells the girls that the vet's coming, and then he's out. Okay. So the first kill of the night is the vet. So the first scene was like a flashback, and then it was 36 hours before, and now we have arrived. All right. And I don't remember if in the first scene, when we knew something happened in the vet, if we saw him get his face ripped off. I don't remember. But this time we see the man gets his face completely ripped off. Okay. And that really kind of shows how ridiculous Ben's strength is. Because my God. And of course, despite the enclosure warning, guess what? Ben is loose. Ben is loose. Next, Ben is found by Kate. And again, he's acting aggressive towards Kate. And she's like, I'm Kate. Ben don't care. Ben don't care. Kate calls Lucy. But then Ben disappears. Next thing you know, Ben is by the pool, ready to attack Nick and Hannah. You know, he don't like that girl, Hannah, okay? he don't he don't like Hannah. So Lucy comes and is able to calm him down. So as they calm him down, they attempt to restrain him with a rope. Lucy tells, did I say Kate? Aaron? What is that girl's name? Hold up. Lucy tells Aaron to stay behind because Aaron is her sister. But of course she doesn't. She doesn't. Ben realizes, oh, y'all trying to restrain me with this rope. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. So he somehow gets loose, or Aaron is close enough and he takes a nice chomp out of Aaron's leg. He sure does. They all jump into the pool and they're like, oh, we can pull him into the pool. So now they're trying to pull him into the pool because he gonna drown. He don't know how to swim. But it doesn't work. Ben chews the heck out of that rope, and they do not get to pull him in the pool. Anyway, they jump into the pool to get away from him because he can't swim and he has hydrophobia. He's afraid of water. Now remember, Ben is super smart. Okay? And so he's sitting there, he's looking at them very aggressively, but you know he's hashing a plan while they're in the pool, while watching in the pool. So all of a sudden now he goes around to the edge. They have an infinity pool. So right at the edge is a cliff. So he goes around to the edge trying to get at them. Nick is like, oh, this is my, first of all, I am not even mad at Nick for his attempt. I'm just mad at what he did after. So Nick sees this as his chance to push Ben over the cliff, right? And for a moment you think it works. And I'm like, move away from the pool. Move away from the edge. If you think you kick, move away. He did not. He did not move away. And Ben lurches up and grabs him. And guess what? He's the one that goes over the cliff. And let me tell you something. He falls head first. And they did not hold bars. They didn't skimp on the gore. They didn't skimp on the gruesome. Because you see him fall head first. And you like, oh, you jump. So now the girls are in the middle of the pool. This is intense because Lucy goes to grab the floaty. Then she sees a phone and she goes to grab the phone. And all the while trying not to fluster Ben or whatever. Anyway, she does it. Like my heart is in my throat. She gets back in the pool. The phone is cracked, but they are able to call the boys that they met on the plane. But the boys are like tripping because they think it's all fun and games. They laughing, and they like trying to explain to the boys that no, we trying to be serious. Then Ben out of nowhere. Like how did he get there? We don't know. He grabs onto Hannah's hair because Hannah was the one on the phone. He grabs onto her hair. He's hanging from the lanterns, okay, over their heads and grabs. And again, no hold bar on the gore, rips some of her hair from her scalp. Which, do we see it? Yes, we see it. Okay. So now the phone is the phone. They drop the phone because they're trying to fight Ben off. They drop the phone. So that was it. That was their one call. So then they fall asleep and then they wake up and realize, oh my God, Ben is gone. Ben is in the house. So Lucy goes. She's like, oh, I'm gonna go in the house. I'm gonna try to get the phone because I know there was a phone somewhere. And Kate's like, oh my God, you're my best friend. I'm gonna go with you. Okay. So they go inside to find the phone. I think it's Nick's phone. Now, there are some heart-pumping scenes in that house. They narrowly escape being discovered by Ben. But of course, something happens. Something goes off and it alerts Ben. And now they are running from Ben. And unfortunately, he catches up with Kate. And she falls. And he uses... I mean, she tries. She tries. But, you know, it's a rabid chimpanzee. He uses a rock to bash her poor little head in. Devastated, Kate jumps back into the pool. She's barely able to get away and jump back into the pool. Now, Drew and Brad, they're next to die brutal deaths by Ben's hand. Drew, they come into the house. They're looking around and stuff like that. All evidence that something bad has happened. But I don't know. They're drunk. They're high. Maybe. I don't know. They're not picking up on the clues. So Drew gets cornered by Ben in a bedroom, and he tries to talk himself out of getting killed. Okay, he tries to entertain Ben with his car keys, and Ben allows him to amuse him until he tells Ben to fetch. He like throws the keys and tells Ben to fetch, and at that moment, Ben's face changes. But like if I could read Ben's mind, Ben's like, "Oh, who the hell you telling to fetch? Who do you think I am? You dumbass little human." That's what I imagine Ben is saying. And you talk too much. Like all you doing is talking. This is what I imagine Ben saying. So after that, Ben has had enough of his talking and crawls on top of him like he's about to hump him, which is very weird. But he's not. He rips his jaw off. And again, do they show it? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. It is you're like, oh, you're looking, you got your eyes closed, you got your hands over your face. Yes. And this is like methodically done, mind you. Like, there's some thought process behind this killing. Then Brad finds the girls, but still doesn't realize that he's in danger, right? Until Ben finds him. It's too late. Ben beats Brad to death with a shovel. Like at one moment you think, oh shoot, there's a chance because he's fighting. No, there's not. So Hannah is the last one to die. And I have to say, her scene was also a roller coaster of anxiety and higher anxiety. That was her scene. So she's able to somehow she grabs keys, runs out the house, has a cell phone, and she goes into a car. Except she's not paying attention. I can't even fault her for this. She's not paying attention. She runs to the wrong damn car. So now she can't drive away like she thought she was going to be able to drive away. She runs to the boy's car. Unfortunately for her, Ben has those keys. Remember those keys that Drew was like toying with him, or he was toying with Drew? Ben has the keys. And he uses them to unlock the door. And he toys with her for a little while before hopping into the back of the car and tearing her apart. And I'm not exaggerating when I'm saying he's tearing her apart. Like, my descriptions are descripting. He tears her apart. He really didn't like her. He really didn't like her one bit. That's what, like Kate's dislikeness of her somehow transferred to him. Because he did not like her. The way child. She at least gets a chance to make a phone call to the police, but because she doesn't live there, she don't know the address, she don't know anything, she is unable to give them any location specifics. Adam gets home from his business trip because he gets a little suspicious. He's like, dang, the girls didn't call me, they didn't text me back, nothing. The man done called me and said there's possibly rabies. Like, he's concerned. So him coming home is another adrenaline pumping scene because Adam cannot hear. And the audience gets a little glimpse of the movie from his perspective, right? So it goes silent and we are freaking out because any minute now Ben could show up, right? Finally, Lucy and Adam, I guess it was a little bit of help from Aaron. I don't know, child. But Lucy and Adam are able to band together and put an end to Ben. Whew. So, was it good? I enjoyed it. Go see it. It was a fun watch. And 8 out of 10. And that is your entertainment drop. Take what you like, leave the rest, and move gently into whatever comes next. If you enjoyed this entertainment moment, share it with someone who could use a little fun today.